Oh, Your Honor, Jordan Zupke from Miss Dietrich, to my right.
All right, state your name, please.
Yvonne Christine Dietrich.
Today's date and time set for sentencing.
Yes.
Zupke, any additions, deletions, or corrections?
No, Your Honor, report is accurate. Just,
No, that's it. We got somebody who keeps logging in named Jacob. We've sent messages without response. If you could unmute and tell me why you're here.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, I'm here for, do you want the case number?
Sure.
26RO0231. Sorry.
What type of case is it? What type of hearing? What does your notice say?
It's for,
I think you zoomed into the wrong room.
are you Derek? Yeah, Derek? Judge Derek?
I am Judge Derek.
Yeah, it highlighted you, and I've been sitting, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Magistrate.
So do you see under my name, do you see a magistrate Zoom?
Yeah, it just says Zoom instructions mailed, and it's on the back, and your name is highlighted.
Okay, but do you see, like, there was a number to dial into me, right?
Yes.
Is there a number to dial into the magistrate? How about I just give you that? That's where you're supposed to be, sir. That's why we kept sending you messages.
Oh, I had no idea you could talk in this. I apologize.
Yeah, so that's what we, no, don't, listen, I just need to get you the magistrate before they close out your case.
Which one was it, Kowalski or?
Not, it's not Judge Kowalski. It's going to be.
Okay, I see it now. I see it now.
Yeah, zoom in there. We're going to call down and let them know you've been up here, okay? So that they don't hold it against you, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, I'm so sorry for that, Mr. Zupke. Please continue.
yes, Judge. All right, there's a lot to talk about. First, obviously, this is not Ms. Dietrich's first go-around with the system. I will say that there are some positive tests. We've talked about these at length. She maintains that she's maintained to probation, that she denied the use of any alcohol. I don't want to ask her what may have caused it. She does have an albuterol inhaler. She's on many medications. She's pre-diabetic. She works with alcohol because she's a piercer. They work with tons of alcohol to clean the chairs and things like that. Now, she maintains to me that if there was any way that she consumed, she would just explain that. And I will say, to her credit, I think she was very honest with her. There is certainly a substance abuse history. And all of that was out. So this is somebody who has had a lot of sobriety in terms of Suboxone. So she has no, all of that was laid out. So I'm asking the court to essentially take these positive tests and, for better or worse, overlook them, at least to allow her to prove herself on probation.
Ms. Leckie, would SoberLink be able to be more effective if there's concerns related to someone who's pre-diabetic, if there's issues as far as it would still be present in breath as it would in urine, right?
I believe so.
These results are exceptionally high and exceptionally concerning.
I did some research as it relates to them. I don't know. It's not as simple. I mean, based on, there's a lot, because there's the pre-diabetes issue, there's the working with alcohol issue, there's many medications that she's properly prescribed, which I guess I was going to ask ultimately for the option of a sober link. I know.
Let's try out, the problem is the financial part of the sober link, but let's try the sober link for a month. Let's see how the results come out. If that is still an issue and we have reason to believe that maybe it's not a drinking event, then we can go to a PET test, we'll try some other things. But let's start with the sober link device and see if from the breath screens, if we get different results.
Yes. So that was one of the, I will say the arrest costs are quite high, and this is, it's an exceptionally expensive drunk driving.
Yeah, I don't remember that there was an accident or anything involved, right?
There wasn't. I don't know, maybe just.
Let me take a look. Let me see if I can help on that.
She had occurred.
But not another vehicle or.
No.
And usually 2 at 4 hours is what I see. I see they put in 2 officers at a total of 9 plus half of an hour of a sergeant's time. But I can offer some reduction on that. So at least take it down to 833.60. The rest of it is supported by what the police department has provided to the court. But that's $160, so that's some reduction.
Yes, and we appreciate it. But when I look at this, I mean, she's maintaining the medications that she's prescribed properly through the therapists and those that have prescribed it to her. I really think this is obviously below the alcohol limit, but there's medications involved and there's kind of more going on. There's been some time since the last case, which was a 2014. I was hopeful the court would consider some leniency in light of the large gap. I mean, obviously, we sat here this afternoon and for varying degrees of cases, but I would ask for something closer to the 18 months mark, just to considering the facts of the case, or a reduction in community service. I know her concern with her mother's here. They spend a lot of time together. I know they see a lot of concerts. It says remain out of all bars and clubs. They go to a lot of music together. I guess she just wanted me to advocate that she'd be able to do that with her mom.
She just needs to notify her probation officer when she's going, so that we can just make sure that if the probation officer said, you know what, okay, you went to this concert, let's do a test the next day, that the probation officer has a chance to do that. So that's the same thing we always do with anybody who has a job event at a bar or a club. Just let your probation officer know, and we'll go from there. Concerts are things that are set out well in advance, so you should have plenty of time to reach out.
I know she has some travel plan, but I told that months in advance or she has travel planned a couple months. I explained that to her, so she's aware. But I'm hopeful the court will kind of, sounds like, is willing to give the benefit of the doubt as to the positives. And it doesn't look good, but I think there's enough here that there's.
Well, I think what you're
Yes.
really laying out for me, Mr. Zupke, is that this is complicated.
Yes.
All right, and that's okay. It's just as long as we know up front that it's going to be complicated. All right, it's going to be complicated on our end. It's going to be complicated for you. All right, and we can deal with complicated. And what we don't like to have happen is if someone sort of minimizes the situation or describes it as, you know, a simple, you know, we're going to have to do some work together. And that's okay, because the payoff is potentially huge, because if we don't do this the right way and you get another one, well, then it's a felony. Because for a second offense, it has to be 2 within 7. But a third offense could be 3 in your lifetime. If you get another one 10 years from now, it's a felony. 20 years from now, it's a felony. So we got to get this right so that you're never branded a felon and put in prison. And what kind of outcome would that be? It would make no sense based on what your real quality is. right? You just have a lot of things on your plate, man. But we just can't introduce things like alcohol. It takes you know better than I. In reading this report, you have so many different medications that you have to try to manage, and there's a very unique balance that has to be kept. And introducing alcohol into this bad idea, and making sure that we continue to follow up with our doctors, so that if there is a change that needs to be done, we operate with that change. Because we just reading the report that you gave back on substance use, and I was grateful about your honesty about this. You didn't run from it, you didn't hide. There was a time in your life when you chased peace in all the wrong places, and now you're trying to do it the right way, with medical supervision, and do all the stuff the right way. But we have to be so cautious. We cannot, under any circumstances, introduce anything into that mix that throws that balance off, because that's how we act. Does that sound fair?
Very.
Anything else, Mr. Zucky?
Just that proof was provided to, I know the court, I think at the time of this, said provide proof of everything to pretrial services or probation.
All the prescriptions.
Everything.
Yeah, she did all that.
Yes,
Okay.
I didn't see that actually referenced, but all of that was provided by the doctors and the prescribing people, so. With that, I'm just asking, I guess, for some leniency in light of the gap and everything that's kind of laid out by Ms. Dietrich to probation and the intricacies of this case. It's obviously not typical, straightforward drunk driving. Right?
Is there anything you'd like to say before this court moves to sentence?
No, I haven't had anything to help for. A psychiatrist, I really run therapy for Suboxone. Therapists.
Do you?
I've been doing this for about Suboxone many years. Therapist a couple of months, and psychiatrist over a year.
The counseling is the thing that I really wanted to make sure you had.
I had a very hard time getting into, I had a counselor, she quit, my insurance had a very hard time finding a new one, but I did find one a few months ago. I speak to her either weekly, sometimes monthly. I do Spravato therapy once a week at my psychiatrist's office.
What's that?
It's a nose spray. It's a like S10 resistant to SSRIs. Yeah, I go for the appointment, someone has to pick me up. So I do that once a week. I see the psychiatrist every 3 weeks. And just trying to get my health together. Diabetes, liver issues, just trying to.
Okay. All right. All right, it's the sense of this court to be put on probation for 18 months. $300 fine plus $350 in court costs, $125 in state costs, it's $100 screening fee, plus arrest costs and probation costs, all authorized in long-term payment plan. You can wait on the money. The key is coming up with a plan that we can not only utilize on a day-to-day basis, but one that is also flexible and can adjust based on your needs, health-wise, mental health, and physical health-wise. I'll suspend the 93 days in jail, and I want you to continue with your mental health treatment. Most importantly on my end is, I have people engage in mental health treatment, they really just have medication appointments, right? You need counseling, all right? So that's part of it. Let's do the sober link 3 times a day, take all medication that's prescribed by your physician, attend the victim impact panel, complete 40 hours of community service, obtain fingerprinting, maintain employment, no alcohol, marijuana, or legal controlled substances, submit to random screens, no bars, clubs, liquor stores while on probation, concerts, need approval, from PO or your probation officer, but those can happen. Any violation could result up to 93 days. Just continue to be, book, let us know what's going on. And also, I would start, I think it's actually a good idea, do you journal?
I do for Suboxone because I talk to the counselor twice a month there, so.
I want you to engage in a weekly journal, and I want you to really put in there the different side effects that you're doing for your medication. I want you to use it both for me to know that you're working on your mental health and your sobriety, but also that when you are talking to your, medical supervisor of your case, that when you say things like, well, it's causing me to feel this, or I'm having these type of urges, things like that, and they say, well, what's going on? You can pull out your document and say, well, last Tuesday, I was really lethargic, felt sick to my stomach, like all of those things. I want you to be an advocate for yourself, but also be a credible advocate. All right? I'll see you back here in 90 days. While on probation, we're trying to reduce the risk of recidivism. I don't want a third here. We want to achieve and maintain a sober lifestyle, which I believe is your goal. And I want to complete a rehabilitative program, which I think we can do. We already know what the consequences are, man, if we get this wrong. That's smart. Good luck. Thank you, Mr. Zucky.
Yes, thanks.
Bailey? Yes. All right, counsel, would you like this to be adjourned to give him a chance to be evaluated by sobriety court?
Judge, first, thank you for the suggestion and the opportunity to discuss it. We have, and Mr. Necessary understanding, the option wants to proceed without the diversion.
It's not a diversion, it's a more intensive probation. It's a much more intensive probation, but it would allow him the chance at a restricted license in 90 days. And that's the only reason why I brought it up. He actually doesn't really fit the bill. Could he benefit from a more intensive probation? Yes, and I think this will end up being still Mr. Veschek does need some hand-holding and requires some support from probation. I just wanted to make sure that I at least put that on the table based on what his mother was saying, because of his need for the ability to drive. He will not be able to drive for a minimum of a year, likely much longer. You and I both know how hard it is to get someone's license back after revocation. So I don't expect Mr. Veschek to have a license anytime in the next 3 to 4 years. So I know it's a 1-year revocation, but I can't see a situation where that's going to be lifted anytime soon. So
I mean, again, this year, I know we were talking on the call with Mom and your friend. The probation will be more intensive, but in terms of having your license sooner, is it? You can decide it right now, or we can ask for the next court date, so you can learn a little bit more about it. You can make an informed decision to enter into be screened for sobriety court,
right?
Anticipate being accepted into it, and then have access to a restricted driver's license.
As long as he's in compliance, he has to be in compliance, stay away from alcohol. He would have to give up marijuana, But again, you're not in trouble either way. As far as like, if you want to go with regular probation, that doesn't make me mad. If you want to try it, that's not going to make me mad either. I just want to make sure that I've advised you, because your mom came up here and she was, she obviously was heartbroken about your, inability to drive. And you have 2 drunk drivings in 7 years. You should not be driving. All right, that's what the state of Michigan says, and you know what? I can't disagree with them. You got 2 drunk drivings in 7 years, okay? But if an individual is willing to go through an intense probation so that they can make sure that they never drink again, not never drink and drive, but never drink again. Because I can't think that anybody in his life would be brokenhearted if he couldn't drink again. Mom, if he never had a drink for the rest of his life, I don't think you'd have a problem with that, right?
Hey, bro.
Right?
I hope he never stops. I hope he never drinks again.
So that's what our program is designed to do, is to make sure that a person not just doesn't drink and drive again, but doesn't drink again. Well, we've done our talking, all right? And I appreciate you more than you know, because I wouldn't even have come up with this idea if you wouldn't have come up here and started talking, okay? But we've been at this for a minute now, all right? So if you want, I can adjourn it just so that he can get a copy of how intensive the probation is. He can learn about it so that he's not put on the spot. I know Mr. Bestcheck well enough that putting him on the spot to make a decision right away is going to make him feel real anxious and make it very difficult to feel good about whatever decision he makes. What's that? So you and I have done regular probation before. We can do that. We can do that again.
That doesn't have the
You
benefit of
will
this.
not have access to. So if you're okay with that, I can go forward with the sentencing right now. But you will not have access to a license. And at least I wanted to make sure that, because I saw your mom come up here and I got the sense that she was asking me if there was any way that he could get a license. The only way that I knew of is if he participated in sobriety court. That's the only way that I knew of. But it is intensive, and I don't want to set him up to fail or overburden him, but it is a tough probation.
What's like, what is like sobriety court, just like that?
Like you gotta come see me in court every 2 weeks, you gotta see a probation officer every week, you gotta go to meetings, you gotta stay away from alcohol, you're gonna have to test a lot, you're gonna have to do a lot of things to prove that you're not drinking or using drugs. But if you can do it, then you could have access to a license as soon as 90 days. But
It's
again,
a more intensive, the things that he's talking about, you're gonna be doing some version of those anyway. It's just gonna be more.
like
more
he's
frequent.
gonna test anyway, he's
Right.
gonna be with probation anyway, but it's just gonna be more intensive. But I do think it's a good idea for him at least to get a hold of the book, talk more with his mom, more with his friend, and then see, like, does this make sense? And if it doesn't, come back to me and say, Judge, I thought about it. Thanks, but no thanks. I'd rather do regular probation. I did it before. I know I can do it.
So I say 3 months and no license, right?
3 months versus maybe 3 years.
I mean, so technically under the law, he's eligible to apply within a year, okay? Or as soon as the year is done. But I've never seen somebody get it right after a year. I mean, I don't know if you have, Mr. Bailick, I don't know if you've seen it, Mr. Warbling, I've never seen it after that first year. It's usually like 2 years, 3 years after that. So, I mean, you know what your life is like right now without.
Why don't we take, at least on an offer for an adjournment, and we can go through it in more detail, and you can sort of understand.
I don't see the harm in it.
No, certainly.
Like we get adjourned in 2 weeks and you come back here and say, I want regular probation. No harm, no foul, we're fine. Then I put you on regular probation. But at least I will know that I gave you the chance. Then I will feel better that I at least gave you the chance to decide if you want it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Does that sound like a plan? We'll bump it over 2 weeks, okay?
Yes.
We'll do it 2 weeks. Mom, does that make sense?
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, I'm gonna bump it over 2 weeks, all right? So that he can talk with everybody, all right, with the attorney, with you, with his friend, about whether to stay on regular probation, which is what we're ordered here, or to consider the more intensive probation, which does offer the chance at a license.
Okay, so we're just gonna do this, sorority.
Sobriety court is all here.
It's all here?
all here.
So what does he actually have to do?
That's what we're gonna get you the information for. It's gonna be a booklet, it'll have all the information, and all of you can go over it together.
Can we get a copy of it?
You get it today before you leave,
Do that.
all right?
All right.
Okay, I'll adjourn this 2 weeks.
I hate to put you through this, man.
Michael?
This is your tax dollars at work, he's here for,
Mr. Bestcheck, I don't think, the reason that I'm willing to do this is that I don't have, I mean, Ms. Linke, you know, Mr. Bestcheck, we don't have, this is not a bad person, okay? This is a problem, we gotta deal with this problem, all right? But you're not a bad person, and so I have no problem whatsoever trying to figure out a way to make sure you're not doing what brought you here to me, again, but also seeing if there's a way that we can help you and your family as a whole. 2 weeks, all right, we'll do this at 1:30, all right? July 7th. If you can have a seat in the hallway with him, Mr. Falick, I'll make sure someone brings you a handbook, and then you can take off, all right?
all right. The last of us at one. All the above. That's. Here, we'll talk.
Thank you, Joe.